Happy life and our opening prayer for this morning.
Good morning, beautiful souls. I am gonna read Happy Life. Like Anisio said, let me open randomly. Never tire of loving. You may see no immediate results. You may be taken aback by people's reactions. It is even possible that the outcome may be downright depressing. Unaccustomed to pure sentiments, people react to them with self-defense mechanism. If you persist, however, you will prove the excellence of the boundless sentiment and you will connect with those you love, receiving back love's inherent blessings. Therefore, love always. The second message from the same book. Measure your emotions carefully. Pretentiousness is always unpleasant. Just as unjustifiable aloofness is to blame for many problems in social relations. Pretentiousness is a behavior disorder, just as aloofness is a synonym of insecurity. Analyze yourself lovingly and sincerely, looking to outcome the fears and anxieties responsible for your behavior. A calm attitude is a sign of self-realization, which you will achieve only through prayer, patience, and meditation. In so doing, emotional control is feasible. All right. So let us start our spiritual Sunday today, in this sunny day in San Diego, by being grateful, saying, Heavenly Father, of infinite love and mercy, and care and compassion and patience, help us today to be closer to you by opening up our ears, our hearts, our minds to the inspirations that they bring us. It is on us to tap into our higher self so that we can hear the inspirations, so that we can feel the love that they send us. So help us. Help us to understand the happiness that awaits us eventually. So, thank you for this day, for your blessings, and may your will be done, not ours. So be it.
So be it. Thank you, Susanna. Thank you very much for the starting. And we have a beautiful topic today. But, the gospel is all about the good news, right? It's all about giving us a path to achieve this probably level of happiness that is beyond anyone's imagination, right? And we're going to try to talk a little bit about this. We are coming close to Easter Sunday, which is going to be next week. So we're going to have a special pancake day. So hopefully you guys can join us. I guess I'm going to put this in the camera. So I think you probably receive, this one. You're probably going to receive an invitation for us. So join us next April 9th, 2023 for our special Easter Sunday and our pancake breakfast brunch day. But with that in mind, talking about happiness, pancakes and happiness are actually connected, but talking about happiness, I don't know about you, but every time I think about happiness, what happened is, unfortunately, we're greeted in our mind by all the challenges we have on earth. And as you get older, as I'm getting old, experiences start to pile up in your life, and you go around and you remember and you see and you experience. And chances are, if you paid attention, even if they might not have happened to you specifically, but if you have paid attention in others, in your community, in your family, with your co-workers, all the people that share your life, you see that there's quite a great deal of pain around us. We deal with bodies that are not necessarily all the time healthy. We deal with emotional distress. We deal with all sorts of violence against each other, because this is still normal and typical on earth, right? We still don't have compassion to one another. We still struggle to accept each other as we are, and all that compounds into an experience in the flesh that is less than ideal and quite downright painful for many of us. And then what to do with that? When Jesus gave us the gospel, in a sense of as the good news about spiritual life, of course, the gospel is centered in that suffering. He knew us, and he knows us, as we in Spiritism think that the soul is actually right around us, inspiring us and guiding us, as it has been for a long time. And he knew that our journey will be the one we're facing right now, the journey of facing and enduring the pain that comes naturally from living in the flesh, right? But he clearly gave us the blueprints that this is not it, right? And here is the most important element, I think, of our teachings, and most important teachings of the gospel. And Spiritism is just exactly rooted in that, is that first, life is not the flesh. Life is not what we're going through right now. What we're going through right now is an experience, is a time where we are engaged in the flesh, right? Experiencing the body, but we're not the body. So we are fundamentally souls, or whatever name eventually science we're going to come up with, right? We are living beings that were alive before the flesh, and will continue to live. So this is just a passage. This is just an experience we're going through. And I say that every time. And I know if you are engaged in Spiritism, if you are even involved with some sort of spiritualism, you might say, I know that. I know that. I even believe that. I can tell you myself that I truly connect and believe, and I think this is the way the universe is. But it's amazing that even for us, even if you have heard that many times, even if you believe, even if you connect, you notice that we still don't live our lives knowing that. We still don't live every single moment, and we don't, especially when we face the situations of where pain visits our home and our families, our own soul, our own spirit. Even in those situations, we are still disconnected from the most important teaching of all, which is we are fundamentally souls, beings that have been lived before, we will live again. That's it. Whatever is going on right now, no matter how difficult it might be, it's an experience that shall pass. And pass it will. And we will survive it. We will survive and live through it and be there on the other side. That's the greatest news of the gospel. That's the greatest news of the gospel. And we still live as this is the end. the vast majority of us, living beings of earth, the vast majority of us have no hope. And when things get bad, and they will eventually, because we live in a society with billions of people and not everybody is thinking about each other. So eventually we're going to face the experience of facing pain. And it's always the lack of hope. When we lose our hope, when we lose our faith that things will turn, that's when the pain gets a level of proportion that's unimaginable. It becomes unsurmountable pain. It becomes a completely paralyzing, destructive pain. And for how long that can last, we don't know, because, again, we live forever. It's our choice. And this is the amazing power of the gospel. The gospel moves into telling us that we, every single one of us, is fundamentally a universe. And happiness can only happen when happiness happens inside of us. And I know we're looking, if we ask around, if we have all our problems solved, if God in a miracle, and sometimes we so often get mad with God when things don't work our way, and when the experiences don't happen the way we want, and when pain and suffering visit us, almost immediately we tend to react against God. And we forget that all the pain and happiness has to do with what's inside of us, not outside. I don't know about you, but I'm going to say a little bit about talking about myself. Before I came to live in San Diego, I actually never lived in a coastal region. I lived in many places, but they were all somewhat distant from the coastline, right? And I always loved the ocean. I just love just being close, just like the waves, the smell. It's something amazing to me. I can stay for hours sometimes just sitting down and watching and appreciating and feeling that energy that comes from the coastline, right? From being just close to the ocean But I myself, when I see my own experiences, I have been to the ocean. I've been to the beach, to the coastal line, and have enjoyed all that experience many times, in being just like getting that happiness and enjoying it. But I myself have also done the same trip, being there, right there in the coastline, right there in the waves, right there in the breeze that comes out of the ocean. And especially here in California, where the water is actually colder, even in the summertime. And I wasn't happy. And I was fundamentally sad in enduring the pain that was coming from inside my heart. Which is the most incredible proof to me, from my own perspective, that no matter how much God gives you love, God gives you what you want, God gives you exactly the experiences you need to grow, but if the heart's not there, if the mind, if you yourself have not yet built the foundation of the divine inside of you, doesn't matter. And I know that because if I manage to be unhappy and sad and painful when I were very close to the ocean, it's because that has nothing to do with God. It had to do with me. I was not ready. I was not capable of actually enjoying happiness in this moment. And I think that's fundamentally the message of the gospel. The message of the gospel is the message that the happiness that awaits you is inside of you. Not inside, not coming from the world, not coming from the things that happen outside of you. Happiness that awaits you is awaiting for yourself, for every single one of us. And the recipe is in the gospel. Love thy neighbor as yourself. Connect with the beings around you. Give those around you the best you have in yourself. Live a life like you're never going to die, knowing that you're never going to die, knowing that every experience is a little tile. It's a little piece of a much larger journey. And even if they are painful in that moment, just put things in perspective. That remember when you were a child. Remember, people when you're getting older, your childhood's kind of going distance, like in a high speed. But remember that things were big. Think about yourself as a child, and try to remember one experience that was very painful to you as a child. In some cases, you look back at the older age and with experience, and you see that maybe the size of the pain you endured was disproportional because of your lack of experience. And I think we all can relate to that, right? We cannot look back in our past and you see that some experiences were very painful. But today, when we look back, they sound more manageable. In some cases, they may even be completely natural today, not even evoke any sort of pain. That's what's going to happen to us as we grow spiritually. As we grow spiritually, the most painful experiences we might have today, the pain that's unsurmountable right now, sometime in the future that might not be that distant, will be acknowledged by our own soul, our own spirit, as needed steps to understand the universe and the others the way we should, to have a balanced life. And no matter how difficult the problem you might be going through right now, no matter how hard it is, and I'm not saying it's not hard, the gospel doesn't say that. The gospel doesn't say that your problems are small. No, they're big. Because they have the size, you feel them. But what the gospel tells you is that things will pass. And that the future holds something better for you, for your family, for your friends, for your community. No matter what happens today, the message is tomorrow, no matter what, and eventually, if not tomorrow, the day after, if not the day after, the day to come, things will come to a better outcome. And never losing that faith, that hope, it's probably the most powerful lever to propel us out of the suffering, wherever the suffering might be we're going through right now. With that in mind, we say thank you. We hope you have a great week ahead of us, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you very much. See you soon.